In this lesson, we will talk about Vray IES or photometric lights, and we will see how we can use them in our renders. This type of lights use an IES file which contains a distribution profile of a real-world light bulb. There are a lot of libraries on internet. You can see here a free library that I downloaded, and we will pick a random profile and we will try to apply this profile to this IES file in our render. Let's pick, for example, this first one. And you can see here our previous scene. I've turned off all the lights except for the dome light or our HDRI, and I've also disabled the sun as well. We will use this camera view for the start. We will create an IIS file and we will see how it acts in our render. Such files are usually provided by the manufacturer, and the information is tested in experiments and it's extremely accurate. So we will go to Vray Lights, we will choose Vray IES, and we will create in front an IES type of light. We usually install this type of lights under our light sources. That's why when we will create our IES file, we will try to create it straight. You can see here we got the light source and we got some properties as well. We will talk about some of them, the main features, and the rest we will leave on default. Although you can see here a lot of functions, we will use only a few of them. Next, our light source got a target, and we usually create this type of lights, as I said, straight. Let me lower a bit our Vray IES, and we will install this light under our light source. Next, we will go to our Vray IES library, and we will pick the first one, and we will load here in the profile of our Vray IES. Now our Vray light source changed, and you can see here the profile applied. And now this light will repeat the same light distribution like you saw on the image. Next, we will have to install this Vray IES under our light source or sources. For this, we will pick the light and the target, and we will move this Vray IES right under our light bulb. Well, first of all, we must keep in mind that we cannot have two intensities. That's why the intensity of the initial light bulb we will have to decrease. And one more thing that I would like to add here, in real projects you will not play too often with these Vray IES. There are some kind of decorative effects or light effects. In most of the cases in real projects people will use straight distribution. But anyway, let's see how they work in Vray and how we can add them in our render. As I said, I will install the Vray IES just right under our light bulb. And also we will have to raise this light source of this Vray IES close to our light bulb, so we can simulate that the light bulb is emitting this type of light or this decorative light. And getting rid of the distance between the light source, this Vray IES, and our light bulb avoids the problem of having an unrealistic effect when the light source is actually emitting light in the render a bit lower than its actual physical position. This is actually one of the reasons why I don't use often Vray IES. You can see in the render the effect of our IES light, and you can see it's low in intensity. But first of all, let's change its color, or actually the temperature, as we are using it in interior design. Let's go with the medium value. Here we can install the units that we will use for the strength or the intensity of our light. And next, let's go to the intensity value. This actually controls the amount of light that we will use for IES. Our Vray IES is too low. Let's increase it by 10 and let's see what happens. You can see here the effect of our IES in the render. Because of the curtain we cannot see the straight lines, but I will show that in a second. And let's actually look one more time at our image as well, so we can see the type of light and how it applies in our render. Let's increase it a bit more so we can see the effect. Well, these are the main features that we will use for Vray IES, and you can see how it looks in our render. We will have to install for each light source an IES, and we will also have to adjust that according to our overall light situation, meaning the hierarchy of our lights. Let me stop the render, and next I would like to talk about some of the options that we got here for these IES type of lights. But before that, I would like to show this IES on a straight wall so you can see the shape of this light. This is actually the main reason why these IES type of lights are used. They create this type of decorative light effect or this decorative light effect distribution. Let me actually lower a bit this IES so we can see it better on this straight wall. And also I'll switch the camera so we can have a view towards our wall. I will start the render and you can see the effect. Well, our wall is reflective, but although we will see the effect of this light. And one more time, let's look at the image, the reference of our light. And of course, we can see the effect in our render. Well, and last, let's talk a bit about the options of Vray IES. First of all, I would like to say that although you see here a lot of options, we will use only a few of them. Usually we leave them on default, they are of a secondary use. And one more thing, if you look closely, a lot of options sample or look like Vray Lights standard light. We can enable or disable our light, we can see the distribution of our IES file. You can see the effect of the distribution if I turn on and off this button. We can enable the target, although we use the target usually for IES. Here we load our IES files. Here we can rotate our light source in relation to the target on different axes. This is useful when we got spots that turn their angle. Let me actually turn this spot so you can see the difference. We will have to switch our camera. In the render you can see the angle of the light changed. Next, the cutoff controls the distance where light is computed, and shadow bias controls the distance of the shadows. We can also cast shadows or turn off the shadows. Let me show this in the render how it works. But as I said, these are options with secondary use. We are not using them in interior design. Usually these secondary options are used for effects. Next we got free options. They are actually almost the same, like we got these options in the Vray Light standard light. And also we got a contribution multiplier. This is a number that controls the intensity that affects the diffuse, the specular or atmospheric effects. Usually all these options are left on default, especially for interior design. Here we can find the options that do matter a lot, the temperature that we are using for interior design, and of course the value or the intensity of our light. We also got the exclude, same as for Vray Light, and we also got the decay, but we will not use that. We will use the physical appearance, the physical correct appearance of our lights. This is actually the main reason why they are used, these IES lights, for their light effects and for their correct physical appearance. Well, that's it for IES lights. See you at the next lesson.